Hi, I'm Alex Stoos, founder of Stoos Customs, where we're all about brutal simplicity. My journey has taken me all around the world, where I've met the most incredible people in the industry. I'm back now in Cape Town, South Africa, where I've built the headquarters of Stoos Customs. I would like to invite you in and show you how my amazing team and I customize, modify, and service these beautiful machines. Hi guys, welcome to Stoos Crafted. In this episode, you'll see the great progress we've made on the Indian customization. From strut mounts, the seat, hand-fabricated stainless steel handlebars, CNC badges, and more. Chris modifies the Softail Deluxe. I head off to find out what goes into metal shaping and the perfect beer. With such an action-packed lineup, you can just sit back and enjoy the show. The first Indian motorcycles, having chain drives and streamlined styling, were sold to the public in 1902. In 1903, Indian's co-founder and chief engineer, Oscar Hedstrom, set the world motorcycle speed record of only 56 miles per hour. In 1904, the company introduced the deep red color that would become Indian's trademark. We've come a long way since then. Hey, how's it guys? We were busy cutting the tank open. We've now machined the housing for the speedo to sit in, and then we've sunk it in. I've got to now clean up the high spots and then run a nice weld and clean the welds up. What we're going to get cracking on today is shaping the rear fender and building the rear fender struts so that it hugs the rear tire nice and clean. This is my very first toolbox, well, when I decided to become, I guess, professional technician. But it's a bit in shambles. Johan and Christopher always have a laugh at me because I always come and steal their tools, and they call me the French tornado because I just come take tools, do something, and they just leave them. Gonna make the bracket to hold the back of the mud guard, which will be cleanly tucked away on the top of the swing arm but behind the subframe. We're gonna now make a mount that sits in here nicely. And then I'm going to manufacture strut mounts here, and then we'll do nice struts. So always check here when you pull your angle grinder out. If you have tools lying on it, you can actually see how it's got a stress crack on there. People will pick it up, and that's how they end up shattering off and taking one's eye out. Okay, very rough, but general shape, and now we'll do a lot of working and manipulation. That last little corner, I'm pretty stoked with how that fits. Now it's a matter of drilling the holes for the mounting. We did go thicker so that I can drill and countersink my button head so it looks flush and clean. So we're going to drill here, here and here, so we have 3 mounting bolts, but we're going to countersink all 3 so the button heads are flush and looks clean. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to square this off so we can load it up in the CNC. We're going to manufacture one of the risers for the handlebars on the Indian. So yeah, we're just going to now put in, make it all square, so when we jig it up that our dimensions are correct. So the next part we're going to machine up is the left side insert for the mirrors, for the clutch lever and the electrical housing. And this is how it starts life off as a solid round bar of 316 stainless, and now we manipulate it into the desired shape. Just want to do this because it's a long part. It needs a little bit of support. Otherwise, you get a bit of chatter, and nobody likes chatter. When it comes to metal shaping, there's a lot more that meets the eye. Let's head down to Barry, Ashmole and Stellenbosch and see how it's done. Hey, how's Barry?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good and yourself.
Yeah, lucky. Good to see you out here again.
Yeah, thanks for having me out here.
What are you running? What are you on today?
So this is another one of the shop bikes. It's advertising our bolt-on parts. So we've machined up our own foot pegs, our sissy bar, our risers, and then yeah, just the highway bars. So when you're on the open road, you can just spread the legs. Let's see what you're up to inside.
Great stuff.
Yeah, so I just want to show the guys what goes into creating from scratch. You know, these days everything's mass produced and you just see the end result and it's pressed out by a machine. So, you know, the consumer just sees the final product, but they don't actually see or know what goes into it.
There's a bunch of different things happening.
Yeah.
So there's the basic physical skill of swinging a hammer, doing that efficiently, making that hammer hit and land exactly where you want it to. That's from muscle memory.
Yes, yes.
You've got to put in the time to develop that.
But I also don't think people realize the different kind of skill level you need in fabricating. I mean, just the tooling you need to produce such a simplistic task. How would you recommend for people to get into it?
Well, I was just picking up a hammer and starting to see what happened. That's part of it. I always tell the guys that come and do the course with me, this is something you learn by doing.
Yeah.
You're not going to learn it off of a DVD or a YouTube video or whatever. And the problem with that stuff is you often are getting bad information.
And a false illusion, because as well, they show you what they create in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're not showing you all the boo-boos, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe you want to ask yourself the questions at the outset, what are you wanting to do this for?
Yes.
You know, is it just going to be a hobby? Are you getting your satisfaction out of the process or out of the finished part?
Yes.
Because that's you know, that's going to determine this for you. For me, I have to find satisfaction in the process.
Yes.
Because as you know, it can stretch into hundreds, some projects in the shop, thousands of hours. My biggest thing when I take something on is I've got to understand that I'm going to have a good rapport with the client. You know, when a job or a build can stretch out into months, even into years, that's going to be like a relationship.
Yeah.
You know? So for me, that's kind of the main thing I need to know. I'm going to be able to work with this person. And a number of times I've had the client come and do the course with me, just so they can get the understanding of
Which actually makes, you know, you actually want to throw that in part of the whole deal.
Absolutely.
So they can get on the same pages with you. From when I was here, there were different ways to shape metal, and you rely majority on your eye, where if you have the molds and you actually shape around the molds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with all of this, there's many options. There's seldom one right way to get a job done. So it is going to depend, as you say, what equipment have you got available?
Yes.
And then what techniques are you more comfortable with? I want to say one of the biggest challenges there is just building the confidence to take that on.
Yeah.
And it's going to take longer. You've got to weigh that up with the time that you might spend in putting your forms, the molds, what we call a hammer form.
Okay.
Putting that together, designing that.
Because at the end of the day, it's still a business.
Sure. But like I say, the cool thing is that there are those options. There are different ways.
And I think that's what's, because it's an art form, and I think that's what's so great about it. It's so unique. So you can pick up from different artisans on how they do it. Because I know Faye Butler, he's more of he's got like the science side to it.
Yeah, and he's big on the power hammer.
Yeah.
It's probably like an artist, you know, a painter, you're going to recognize their style.
Yes.
You know, two guys could paint the same scene. So, you know, you're ending up with supposedly the same thing, but they're taking a totally different way of getting there. That's their style.
Yes.
And over time in shaping, that develops. You're going to gravitate to your comfort zones, what comes easy to you.
Yep.
That's going to be your style. Because you can drive yourself crazy looking at what other guys are doing. You can drive yourself crazy, you know, making those kinds of comparisons.
100%.
And at the end of the day, the only thing that counts is how have you improved.
Exactly.
So.
And you build the best that you can build, because at the end of the day, no one's building what you're building, because you made it. You don't want to be cocky or anything, but you're the best at what you do because it's you doing it.
These things are handmade.
Yeah.
You know, it's made by human hands. So
Yeah.
we've got this notion that these things are perfect. They come out of machines, they popped out.
Yeah.
When something's made by a person's hands, there's a little bit of soul in there, there's a little bit of imperfection.
Yes.
I mean, one of the big things for me was, it took a while, but getting your head around the idea that I've done this to the best of my ability, it is good enough.
Yes.
If I were to go do the same thing 5 years from now, I would expect it to be better than this one. But for where I am today and who I am today, that is as good as I can do, and I'm happy with it.
Yes.
And that's what keeps me going.
Right, so this is the 23-inch baby that's going to be going in here. As you can see, it's currently at the top of the fender there. So the bike is going to get a bit of height. This is for aesthetics and to complete the cholo look of these bikes. Well, that should give you about an idea of what she's going to look like. We polished the disc bolts, also cleaned up the whole face of the disc. Polished these few bolts over there, along there as well. So on the sprocket side, we also just polished up this lip, neatened it, and also the bolts as well. So here we have the 23 fitted with just enough clearance over here on the tip of the fender. However, there is a full inch gap all the way around inside the fender. We have tested the bike at speed as well, so the tire elongation doesn't actually touch. And we've done a whole bunch of measurements. We can actually go onto the board and I can show you some of the measurements we've done there. So this was the standard setup and the travel on the fork. This was without the fender in, and as you can see, we only had 14 millimeters from the engine guard to the tire. That's without the fender on, so that would have completely smashed the fender. So first modification was to actually just shorten the dampering rods and stuff like that and check what's happening. And here we got 46 millimeters to the engine guard. And then this was mod number 2, just to check it out, which was too far, it was too close to standard. So I stopped measurements there and everything. Mod number 1 was actually the one to go for. And then we had to sort out the preload, just to make sure that all the preload on this actual spring was very similar, if not just a little bit more preload on it, so that we don't bottom out very easily. So as you can see, this is a pretty sweet ride. The stance is awesome. Once you're rolling as well, the way the suspension has been set up and just how this bike handles with these tires and rims, it's so awesome, and it's something I'd love to have in my garage.
Okay, so this is the right side of the fuel tank insert that we made. The one that's in there is the left side of the tank, and this one is going on the right side. So this is the new front wheel axle for the Indian. The new part will be manufactured out of 316 stainless steel. So the bearing size has changed between the standard axle and the one we're making for the BST.
So a quick update on the Indian. What we've been busy with is machining the grips for the clean look. As you can see, we've installed the turn signals and the mirrors, and we've also been working on the mounting for the seat and the backpack to hire all the wires. And the bars are all done now. The last thing we're going to do is the bezel, and then she's ready to be disassembled for paint. been a great day. I'm off to CBC to meet Anton to see what goes into making craft beer.
Hey, how's it, Anton?
Hi,
How you doing?
good in yourself?
Yeah, lekker, man.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Excited to see what's happening inside.
Well, my eyes are going down constantly. Damn, this is beautiful.
Well, you're a big rider yourself. I know you're mainly dirt road.
Yeah.
But a bike's a bike.
But I see you kind of incorporated a bit of the
So
dirt styling.
as coming from a dirt background as well, I incorporated the Pro Taper handlebars with MX style foot pegs, which we've machined up in-house. So
beautiful.
yeah, so we've taken a normal Harley dyno,
Yeah.
and I just kind of customized to my everyday ride.
Okay,
just
cool.
as you would for your bike from the out rides.
Kind of, it's between style and comfort.
Exactly.
Yo, it's a beast. All of these are machined in?
Yeah, all machined in-house. Starts as a solid block of aluminium,
Shit.
and then we got the Saddleman seat just for comfort for the long roads.
No, this is really a masterpiece.
So we go take a
Beautiful.
check what's happening inside.
Yeah, I'll show you what we do on this side. So in the beginning we were like really small, and myself was responsible for loading the truck, working on the bottling line, helping a bit with the brewing, working in the cellar. And as we've grown over time due to our hard work, these are all now departments on their own. So I'm kind of just the one in between orchestrating everything, and they are like fully staffed individual departments running themselves.
But for you to become so good at your craft, you need to go to all these aspects and all
Yes.
the avenues to make this whole organization run.
I think what people enjoy about a craft product is that it's not always so reliant on and rigid when it comes to rules.
Yes.
I have the possibility and the freedom to constantly hunt better quality and better product, you know. Each one doesn't have to be exactly the same as the other. I can taste our Pulse Noir lager today, and we can sit as a team and have a chat and like, how do we want to go further? Yeah, get it better. I mean, as a craftsman ourselves, we tend to have personal relationship with these people, you know, and that also just kind of gives to the end product. You can really taste the quality and the effort that goes in. It's not only about the beer itself, it's about the whole brand behind it, the people. I mean, we are a close-knit family here. We're not a size of organization where there's 1,000 boxes to be ticked every day. We're a close-knit family, and most of these people have spent years with us, and we need that kind of passion from them. Because in the world we're living in today, I mean, COVID hits you tomorrow or something goes wrong the next day, that sometimes you need to dig in, you know, and you need to kind of do the hard work. And if you don't have that passion in your team, it's hard to always get on top of these situations. A beer is a very, very delicate product to work with. You know, it's not like wine where it has a high alcohol and sulfur levels, etc., to kind of keep it. It's a perishable. So the guys in the cellar, they need to almost work surgically clean to prevent the beer spoilage further down the line. And I mean, I'm not always there to keep an eye on them. And the only way to kind of have that discipline is if they understand what they're working with.
Pride in every...
And take pride in that product, to know, you know.
Like you're saying, it's not just the particular item, it's just like you said, hard work and having an end result of something that you can actually taste, and you see that your hard work, that dedication that's gone into it to create a great product.
Something that really interests me is the tango that you have between chemistry and art and craftsmanship.
Okay.
So you have this cold hard chemistry which you can't change. I mean, formulas are formulas, they're going to give you a result. But within that, you can still play around with recipes and bring your like kind of personal touch to things. And that is so rewarding at the end of the day if you play around with things and you can actually taste that in the end product. It's really a satisfying feeling.
And I think that's also what's so great about it, isn't there's a set formula.
Yeah.
So, and the same with when I put a bike together. The way you do it today, you know, you've learned one way, but you can change it the next day and just keep evolving into something new.
Yeah. So on the side, we now like once or twice a year do a small batch of beer where we sit around as brewers, and then we just throw everything on the table
and we decide, okay, this is what we want to do, something for ourselves, because you need that. You need to kind of keep that creativity going.
Well, now talking about all this beer, I need to try some.
Definitely, my mouth is dry. We need to taste some of this product. Taste some of that hard work. Cheers, man.
Who knew hard work and passion could taste so refreshing? Anto clearly knows what he's doing. So the Indian update, the good old saying, watching paint dry. That's pretty much where we are with the Indian. All the panels are at the painter, the tank, the front fender and the rear fender. We should be getting that back shortly and then we can start assembly. But at the moment now we had a bit of a hold until we can get our paintwork back. Here at Stoos Customs, we're all about the craft. In future episodes, we would like to feature other craftsmen in their trade. If this is something that interests you, drop us a mail at info@stooscustoms.com. In the next episode, I'll finish up the Indian and take on a beautiful BMW R19. We're going to strip down the fairing. We're going to design and manufacture exhaust out of 316 stainless, and because he races Porsches, the end cap on the older Porsches is quite iconic, so we're going to incorporate that onto the build.
It's a natural process that you want to just always create, and you don't want to be just hit the status quo, and you want to keep the public excited.
Yes.
Seeing that, makes it all worthwhile.
Business and entrepreneurship is one thing, but we understand that food for us is sort of everything. We always say to people that kitchens are the engine rooms of our business. So it's quite a cool place to work with food, and we want young people to realize that you could sort of flip a cool business from baking muffins from your mom's kitchen, you know, and that's cool. Like we all start somewhere.